Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. Silver and gold American Eagles might be permanently getting canceled. Not just next year, not just running out. We're talking about a permanent termination of one of the most beloved coins, well, pre-2020. Now, we know that there is a very messy situation revolving around the U.S. Mint and not being able to sufficiently produce Eagles up to the client demand or whatever, the Congress wants. And there was a congressional complaint going against the U.S. Mint a couple weeks ago. And we know that the U.S. Mint really can't do anything to fix this problem. Well, they could, but they're not going to, and that's because we're trying to hold down interest rates on our own $30 trillion of debt. Now, when I heard this information, it was from a very trusted and reliable silver stacking channel on YouTube that revolves a lot of its content around the U.S. Mint. So when I heard this, I went to look up the information, but I couldn't find anything. He's going from rumors. There's rumors that the U.S. Mint's going to cancel silver and gold Eagles. So for me, I wanted to hold off on. I've known about this rumor for a couple of days now, but I wanted to see if any articles broke, but there hasn't been anything I can find. Now, that's not to say that this situation is false. I just haven't seen anything that I'm able to personally cover to validate it. So let's just say that this situation is true. We already know why this situation would be happening. So let's just talk about if it does happen. And remember, we're talking about allegedly canceling silver and gold Eagles for good. Which honestly, it doesn't sound that insane. Now, the reason I'm actually thinking this is a real possibility is because of the rumors that I'm hearing this from around the stacking community are from people that don't BS. They're not just saying this to get clicks. This is real stuff. This is real stuff, and they're hearing it from somewhere. And we do know that with the U.S. Mint, especially their congressional complaint, and this is really why it does make sense, is the timing, is because there was a huge congressional complaint sent towards the U.S. Mint a couple of weeks ago. And Congress is so mad because the U.S. Mint just keeps falling short of the demand. They cannot find enough silver planchets to save their life. And the reason is because the U.S. Mint cannot pay above spot price to get their silver. So who wants to sell to the U.S. Mint when they could be selling to other mints and other, dealers at way above spot price? Why cut themselves short and have to sell to the U.S. Mint paying, 17 whatever dollars the prices when they could be selling to other mints and dealers at $21, $22, $23? And then the Congress says, why doesn't the U.S. Mint look towards other mints and see how they're being able to keep up with demand? And that's because other mints don't have the same laws that the U.S. Mint. Other mints can pay above spot price. And that's why people are selling to them. That's why they have no trouble finding enough silver. So, and there's more to the story. I mean, we could even talk about why they outsource their silver, most of it from the Sunshine Mint. We could talk about a lot of other things. But regardless, let's just talk about the possibility of the U.S. Mint just completely shuts down the production of silver and gold Eagles. Now, before we jump into this, I do want to mention I'm doing a massive 60,000 subscriber silver giveaway. The entry video is live. Also, if you want to purchase silver, I got you guys. Just send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. They've never had a negative complaint in over 45 years they've been in business. Great company, build a relationship with the direct source like that. They will be able to hook you up indefinitely, and that's a great opportunity that I'm able to offer you. So take advantage of that. So anyways, let's jump into this. Eagles are the most recognizable coin in the world. Pre-2020, Eagles were king, but they were also the bottom of the barrel. See, they were king because they were cheap, but they were recognizable and respected government-backed coins with one of the cheapest prices over spot, one of the cheapest premiums. I would always recommend beginners to go Eagles. I used to make a lot of beginner type stacking videos, and Eagles were always the go-to. But nowadays, that is literally the last coin that I would recommend a beginner going to. Now, that's just from a stacking perspective. If you want to get into some really deep conspiracy stuff, I still recommend the US Mint for other reasons that I'm not going to dive into this video. Let's just talk about just the fundamentals of why you would buy a coin at this price or this price, or generics versus bars and rounds, yada yada. If you want to go jump into that conspiracy video I made, just go to one of the videos I made a few days ago titled "Why You Need American-Made Silver." But you know, let's just talk about realistically. The U.S. Mint sold 5 million Eagles the first month of January this year, right? Record-breaking sales. Everyone wanted to get their hands on Eagles, but nowadays in June, they sold only like 50,000 compared to previously 5 million. I mean, we're talking about a dramatic decrease, people turning their back. Nowadays, we're seeing Perth Mint and the Royal Mint setting record-breaking sales, right? I mean, we're talking about Perth Mint selling 2,500,000 coins when the US Mint sold 50,000 coins in June. Now, earlier this year, actually around the time the U.S. Mint broke 5 million ounces, that record-breaking high, I was wondering why people were still buying Eagles, since the premiums are 71%. I was saying that I think people are going to eventually start turning their back on Eagles, and that is exactly what happened. Now, we know that they also put a very, very low mintage cap on these Eagles, the Type 1 and Type 2 Eagles of 2021. They also had to cancel the 2022 Morgan and Silver Peace dollars. I mean, who knows what else is going on behind the scenes? And I think that's the scariest part, because so much of this is left in the dark. I do got to give respect. The US Mint was the first mint to come out and say, yo, there is a silver shortage. It's real. It's not a myth. No other mints were mentioning that. And then it's funny because as soon as the US Mint came out and said that, then the Perth Mint comes out and admits it. Then the Royal Mint, right? Then it's funny that everyone is hiding this stuff that's very, very important, and it just takes one person to admit it until everyone else raises their hand. Regardless, though, let's dive deeper into if they really did cancel production indefinitely for your silver and gold Eagles. What would this mean? I think a lot of people would move towards Maple Leafs, which I actually just read that Maple Leaf sales have increased over the past couple of months. Do you think that's coincidental? I don't know. I also think Britannias, which are already a very popular coin, one of the most popular, I think those would be a strong contender for the top coin. I mean, Britannias are incredible. They look better than Maples. Maple Leafs, most of those get milk spots. But what would the US Mint do? I mean, that's their main coin. That's why they canceled the 2022 Morgan and Silver Peace dollars, is so they could focus on Eagles. I don't know what would happen. And I think that this and even more reason of why this could be true is because their situation is not going to be fixed anytime soon. Anytime soon. And that's because the government's trying to hold down interest rates on its own $30 trillion of debt. So they're never going to let the secretary pay above spot. Ever. And they can't start producing Eagles in-house because they have nowhere near the equipment or supplies nowadays. They started outsourcing their silver, getting most of it from the Sunshine Mint, back when the US Mint was selling 30, 40 million Eagles per year, like 2011, But nowadays, they don't do that. They're selling, a fourth, a fifth of that. So why couldn't they start sourcing their silver in-house now? Probably because it's too late. Now, another interesting point to that whole situation is the congressional complaint actually mentioned something very clever. They said, why doesn't or didn't the U.S. Mint put aside put aside silver planches or eagles. So if this problem, or when it did occur, they would have backups. They would already have a reserve. I could probably answer that question and say what they did that, but it's all gone. I mean, remember, they completely ran out of silver in 2020. They had to make an emergency 1 million mintage supply from the San Francisco Mint at the end of the year. So I bet those reserves were already used up in 2020. Or the silver planchets, that 1 million mintage supply, that was what their reserves was. Their reserve was. So who knows how deep the situation goes. I would love to know your thoughts, though. Remember, this is all allegedly true, but we cannot speak for the U.S. Mint. We don't know until some actual evidence comes out, some actual info, a statement from them. We got to take it with a grain of salt. Even if there are articles that start getting posted, if it's not directly from them or something that they publicly said, it's all just allegedly. But since I did hear rumors, or since I'm starting to hear rumors around the stacking community, I wanted to bring this to the table and shed some light on it. I do also recommend, though, you go check out the video I made of why you need to be buying American-made silver, because that is another theory that it's starting to make sense. I mean, a lot of people are talking about silver confiscation now. And if that did happen, then my theory would almost also be validated. The two conspiracy theories would both be intertwined and make sense together. I mean, I talk about silver confiscation because we don't have enough silver, we need it industrially. But what about globally, between all these different countries, and the countries that are kind of kicking the U.S. Mint, or not the U.S. Mint, the United States, off to the curb, right? We're kind of going to be detached from the world, or a possibility of that. That means we would only be able to spend American-made silver. Any other type of silver would be confiscated because it's no longer money. It's no longer legal tender, and it's no longer acceptable to have if you live in the United States. Now that's another theory, but then also putting together the U.S. Mint not making eagles, where would that leave us? Where would that leave us? I also think it's interesting they said gold. That's another big indicator this might be a massive problem, because the U.S. Mint doesn't have a shortage of gold. Gold is very common. It's re-scrapped, reused, recycled into more gold because it's mainly used for jewelry and coins and bars. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, this isn't a sure thing, so we gotta take it by ear. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna wrap this video up here, though. If you have any info on this, then please send an email to info.silverslayer@gmail.com. I've been doing some digging, but I just haven't found anything validating enough to bring to the table beyond just speculation and rumors. But I did want to mention what the rumors are. I'm always going to give you the inside scoop. So anyways, yeah, if you want to enter my 60,000 subscriber giveaway, I highly recommend you do. Also, if you want to purchase some silver, send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. They will be happy to hear it. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.